Hello viewers and welcome back to what is the first special event of 2026. Now you might know me as a GTP / prototype driver, but this time we're tackling the 24 Hours of Daytona in the Porsche 911. The initial plan was to go ahead and race this race in the Mercedes. However, we discovered the night before that there's just simply no way. The Porsche BOP is simply too good. So we made a last minute switch over to the Porsche 911 for this race, and for me personally, it was for sure the better choice to go with. A much safer, a much faster car, not to even talk about how well it takes the bus stop chicane. For this race, I'll be joined by Steve, you all know him by now, and other people from Swift GP for this combined effort. We have Arya, we have Chris, and we have Braden coming from the US and Canada respectively. Due to the weird start procedure, if you are not in the top class of car, we get released halfway through Speedway Turn 4, and we get jumped by that Monster Energy Porsche behind, but it really won't make much of a difference here. It's the first hour, first lap of the race. You really don't want to be making too aggressive moves. Steve here taking the start, very safe driver, probably the quickest guy we had available for the race start. Now before we delve fully into this race, I want to talk about the iRacing BOP for this race. If you look at the top left, you can see the manufacturers that are being raced. It is just simply a Porsche Cup here. We have one Lamborghini, we have a BMW who will come into the picture later, and we have a Mercedes in the background there. But this is absolutely ridiculous. I have to say that in all my years of iRacing, I have never seen this skewed of a field. Never in my career have I had a race where over 90% of the cars are from the same category, especially when you have about, what is it, 9-10 options for this race. But yeah, it's just beyond me how iRacing can screw the BOP up that badly. But anyways, here heading on to the third lap of the race, we start making some moves here. Steve vying for that 10th place. Up ahead, Pete Cox in the Porsche, surprise surprise, fakes into the right, down the inside he goes, into the best overtaking spot of the circuit. Cool as you like, down the inside, really leaves the door open. The racing is very casual here for the first few hours of the race, as you most certainly would hope. Nobody wants to have an accident in the first few laps of the race, but a bit of aggression can take you a long way, as we're seeing here. Steve on the outside of the car ahead, heading into the first corner, ducks down to the inside, a very Jack Aitken-esque move. Remember what he pulled on the Porsche, or at least tried to do on Felipe Nasr in the real life Rolex 24 just a couple of weeks ago. Down the inside he goes, that's 9th place secured, and that's an excellent move as the hypercars come around us for the first time in this race. However, the battle is not over, as Anderson in the number 22 Porsche comes back at him down the inside. Obviously a Danish team, judging by that rear wing end plate, he gets him back, but then again, you know, very early on in the race, nothing to really worry about. Yes, Steve practically pushing him through that corner, but just a bit of an annoyance here in the first few hours when we know that we are a very fast team and we should be fighting up front. Down the inside goes Steve again into turn 1, a very popular overtaking spot. This time, car behind goes a bit wide, and Steve manages to secure that position for now, but this time on the 13th lap of the race, as he tries to go around the outside into turn 1, leaves the door wide open for Andresen to go back by the inside, and we lose that place yet again. There's an enthralling battle here, especially considering it is the first half an hour of the race. We're here in our own little pack. The leaders are pulling ahead, which is of course not ideal from our perspective, but damn, is this entertaining. Into the bus stop we go then. Now Steve closer than he has been in a while. Huge gaggle of cars, huge respect to that Mercedes as well for staying with us. That Porsche a couple places ahead is really slowing us all down, as Steve with the better exit through the bus stop chicane gets by Andreasen again. And now on the following lap we have the GTPs coming around yet another time, but that allows us to go around the outside. Nice move there yet again into turn 1, a real hotspot for overtakes. As I mentioned, this is by far the best place to make an overtake, as now we can set our sights on P6 up ahead, this green and black Porsche. Steve mixing it up this time, not going in for the move in turn 1, but into the international horseshoe. He spots the gap, he penetrates the gap, and through he goes, 6th place. And that is a very, very solid opening stint as we head down pit road here for the first time in this race. Very challenging pitbox location we had here, being is that 4th or 5th? Box really had to be careful to not overshoot it with the pit limiter. Steve going for his second stint here and immediately getting straight to work. 4th lap of the stint on the outside of yet another Porsche here. That doesn't really narrow it down at all if I call it by the brand, but that gold and white Porsche around the outside, easy move and into P4. After that, it was a very uneventful stint from Steve, just safely taking the car to the end of another pit cycle and handing it over to Chris, who immediately got back to work here, continuing what Steve started. Down the inside he goes into the entry to the oval, turn 7 there. A nice easy move there. Again, must mention that in the first few hours people really don't fight that hard, but that just means that if you have a bit of aggression, if you're a bit more aggressive than everyone else, you will get a lot done, as Chris is showing here. But the Porsche is not done yet. He draws it side by side, heading into the bus stop chicane. Who will back out? Chris backs out of there. More intelligent driver, I would say. Not challenging it that hard in the first few hours anyway, knowing that he will get the slipstream down the straight, and that's exactly what he does, drawing it a level again down the inside into the first corner. Again, trying to shove the opponent a bit further out wide, run him out of room, and that's an easy move right there, setting his sights forward for 3rd place here. What an immaculate comeback drive we've done so far. As you can just about see the sun setting in the background. Will Chris try it in the same place where Steve tried it? You're damn right he will. Down the inside he goes. Very aggressive move, parks it on the apex, not letting the car behind have any sort of chance of going back by, and he brings it home at the end of his stint in 3rd place. A very solid job there again, and the lead is almost in sight. Now coming out the pits on cold tires, very easy mistake to make here. He just loses it on the back end, and that's just really unfortunate. Luckily it was nothing more major than a little half spin, losing a place or two there, and mainly biggest tragedy there was losing a lot of time. And here we get to the point where my stream freezes. I apparently get some kind of packet loss issues, most likely because we are in a US based server, I believe, because most of my teammates are based from over there. So this is where my stream ends for this part, and for some reason I was unable to download Steve's POV. Just the downloader was not working. So we're now going to cut to what is the start of my stint with about 10 hours to go in the race. It's that early. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, nice
Alright.
work, Master.
Thank you.
I'm in for a double now, and I think it's either Braden or Chris, and it's another double for me.
Yeah, it says Chris. I think me and him talked about splitting them up as singles, but I might just... I don't know. We'll see what happens if Braden gets on. I might just let him drive.
Yep. Now hopping in the car, having woken up and actually had a school day on this Saturday. I don't know, Finnish education system, doing Finnish education system things. However, I was very pleasantly surprised to come back and see us about a lap in the lead almost once the pit stop cycle around. So all I really had to do here was just keep it safe. And that's exactly what I did. Very uneventful stint from my part. Part 1 of the double done, almost speeding into the pit lane. But now you could also call that a perfect pit entry. But yeah, nothing much for me to do here except keep it on the circuit, drive it relatively fast, and don't crash.
Yeah, you're killing it on the...
Okay.
Is that guy really fucking sending it? Nice monster logo, you fucking douche.
That dude beats his wife.
Make you want to beat your wife too, dude. I've seen a lot of dudes drinking Monster that you know they're going home to punch.
Theo Vaughn references aside, sometimes you just need well, a higher level education to know what goes inside the brains of some of these people, especially given what happens next. And he's spitting, okay.
I hate people like that.
Despite some questionable racing, we managed to bring it home, back into the pit lane with a gap of about a minute 30, damn near a lap. And into the pits we go, handed it back over to Steve. After what I can call a very satisfying stint, nothing really happened, just did my job. Was not the fastest out of us three, but kept a decent pace. Gap remained the same, and that's all you can really ask for. as we now head to the start of my second stint of the race in the beautiful Daytona sunrise.
Nope.
This is my absolute favorite time to drive anything really where the sun is either coming up or going down. It's a very nice aesthetic to race in. And now, looking at the top left here, you can see first of all that the gap is now a full lap and 10 seconds. And the BMW I alluded to earlier, they are now in second place. They have done an incredible comeback and will be definitely a force to be reckoned with later on in this race. Although, with the gap we have right now, what is this, almost 18 hours, a bit over 18 hours into the race? Something would really have to go catastrophically wrong if we were to still lose this race somehow. Coming to the end of my first stint, my goal for this next one is to just keep that one lap gap ahead for the car behind. But as I'm looking at where the guy's coming out, I completely miss my braking point, go barraging into the first corner. And it really was a split-second decision that saved our race there, between either going left and trying to make the corner and hitting the wall, or turning right and doing what I did. Now that mistake did cost us the full lap advantage that we had, but I would still rather lead by a minute and 40 seconds rather than be out of the race entirely. So no harm done there, just surviving with a bit of a fright. So if I start taking the bus stop.
Hogan is now on wets.
On wets, okay. What? Ferrari strategy team here out in full force at Daytona. As we said, our best lap of the race, 44.9 at the very end of our stint, with a big help from the slipstream from the BMW ahead.
Atta boy.
Nice. Crazy slipstream there.
There's a faster car approaching.
I saw no slipstream. That was all you, buddy.
Now, with those words of encouragement from Braden, I was able to close right back up to the second place car as the Ferrari is doing something there on the right. And now getting ready to put the BMW back down by a lap. This was really my goal with the stint. I lost the lap advantage and I was pushing like hell to get it back. Granted, maybe I was pushing a bit too hard considering the situation, but it gave me something to do other than just drive around in a circle. So past we go on the BMW, reinstating our one lap lead as we then bring it home a couple laps later into the pit lane to hand it over to Braden. Alright, all yours. But half an hour later, the unthinkable happens.
Seems to be stable right now.
You want me to just say screw the warm up and just stay in the sim to make sure nothing happens? I think it's.
Yeah, it just went red again. Very bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming in.
Okay, I'm 55% in. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm coming in. It's bad.
Okay, I'm almost in.
No way. We got a penalty for some reason. I'm assuming
How
for
long?
me clipping in and out, so
You know how long?
40 seconds.
Fuck, bro, that's a big ass.
Oh, I know, but it came out of nowhere. Oh my god.
No, that's not your fault. That's not your fault. Don't worry. That's just we got raped by our internet. It's not letting me hop in the car. It says awaiting tech inspections.
It's serving. Oh, okay. The serving penalty, probably that's why. So 4. Okay. Now get in.
If I got in your way, 08.
It says remove driver. I can't.
Yeah, remove me then.
Okay. It's just fucking taking so long.
Yeah, it just crashed.
Dude, it's not letting me get in the car.
No way.
It's saying just wait.
Is it driver swapping?
I don't know. It's like bugged.
Oh no.
Oh, race. Okay, I'm in the pits. I'm going.
You absolutely cannot make that stuff up. An internet failure on Braden's end puts us into the pit lane with a 40-second penalty. destroying our lead and putting us about 50 or so seconds down on the leader. And the only hope we have at this point is the pit cycle. Is that if we somehow manage to have a shorter final stop than these guys, as we actually end up going by for the lead there, if we somehow manage to have a shorter final stop, we will still be within a shot of winning this race. So Arya puts in an absolute shift. Thankfully he was there ready when Braden's game crashed. It really is thanks to him that we aren't down in 4th or 5th place right now, 10 laps down in the leader. And having put in an absolute shift of a drive, sitting in the car for the better part of 3 hours, handing it over to me on the pit stop, and right now I have just one goal in mind. Maintain track position.
Thank God. Alright. Good luck, good luck.
Yes, thank you. Now Arya had to save a whole lot of fuel on his in-lap there in order for us to actually make it till the end without having to make an extra stop in this race. And that actually made me very nervous about where we will come out in relation to the leader. As you can see there, Lloyd Cooper in the BMW comes out ahead of us. Now that's an absolutely devastating blow to us. They have about 13 laps that they need to fuel the car less for the final stop. We need to go for a full tank. We have no other option than to go for a full tank. But they need only about half an hour of fuel, which will save them a lot of time in the pit stop. So time really is of the essence here. I need to find a way by this BMW as soon as possible and then pull a gap which would keep us ahead come the round of pit stops. And now really it's time to throw caution into the wind. I dive it around the outside, hope to get a better exit, look for the switchback there, don't quite get it done. But as I take that deeper line, I'm faster on the exit. I stick it down his inside into this kink, he backs out of it. He knows that he has the fuel mileage on us, and now I just have to push like hell till the end and just hope that either something happens to him or that I'll be faster. They have their fastest driver on board at the moment, which is really does not work in my favor. And as you can see there, I just cannot pull the gap over a second. It's simply impossible. He keeps with me all too well. I am slightly faster, but because of that slipstream, the gap does not change from that 1 second margin. I can't get it above 2 seconds. And as we head down pit lane, the gap is just over a second. That's perfect potential. Alright. Yes. Let's get this. Now I play the role of the relief driver there as Arya. I'm guessing he went for a bathroom break there after driving for that long of a time, but 25 minutes on the clock, and now the BMW comes in for the final time, a whole 25 or so minutes later than we do. So they're essentially on half a tank here, and we have one of our fastest drivers in the car who is faster than Lloyd behind the wheel of the BMW. So now we really need a stint of a lifetime here from Arya. But looking at the gap here, it just isn't going down enough. Arya is catching. He's taken about 5 seconds instantly. Granted, some of that was down to cold tires, but still, it just isn't going down enough, and we need a miracle if we are still to win at this weight stage. Nice full position. Ready? Come on. Aggro. Yes! No way. Out of all the times the Ferrari could have done something, why not now? Why not now? But sometimes, no matter how perfect of a race you run, you can run a mistake-free race like we did today. But sometimes, it just isn't meant to be. Hey man, great job. Still second, that's
I wish we got first, but
yeah,
at least we got second.
Well done, everybody. It's been an absolute
We
pleasure.
absolutely deserve that win.
Good
So
luck with any
deserved it.
other races.
Well,
Yeah,
car
we
number
for
one.
sure got
that
it.
was
I say we got that win in our hearts.
battle. Holy
Yes.
shit.
Yes, absolutely. We want that
Holy
racing
shit.
spirit.
I mean, we had a lap and 30 seconds on P2
We sure did.
or P1 technically now. And how many seconds did they beat us by? Like 10?
Like 9. Less than 10.
Yeah, okay.
That's mental, man. That really does sting.
That is brutal. That is a brutal loss.
Now, I'm not typically the type of guy to immediately jump into conclusions and say that something was directly unfair, but this time I do have to make an exception. This race was unfair. We ran perfectly from start to finish. Nobody made any glaring errors. We were by far the class of the field. We were leading by over a lap. At that point, you just gotta say that we were the deserving winners of this, but then again, you can make the argument that that's racing, and that's exactly what it is. So, of course, very, very disappointing to lose out like this. Second time for me it's happened. Third time for Steve that he's lost it, having led it by a lap at some point. And yeah, this really does sting. But on to the next one, I guess. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you next time.